Hello, I'm Keith Kreischer, Executive Director of the IoT M2M Council, here at Embedded World, North America, in Anaheim, California for the first time, with my good friend Marc Plante of Somos. Marc.
Hey.
Welcome. How's the show going?
It's going great. This show has grown a lot compared to what was happening last year, having a lot of good dialogues with people. I think the idea of services is starting to mature around IoT devices. People aren't just pushing modules at 1,000 pieces per X dollars.
Right.
So it's great to see the IoT industry growing.
Right, and of course it's a highly technical audience, so
Yeah.
that also is a big deal.
Yes.
It's good to be talking to technologists. Obviously Somos is active in a lot of different areas, but cybersecurity is a big one right now, and it seems like security in IoT deployments and embedded systems is more important than ever. Talk to us about that. It seems like it's coming to a head.
Yeah, if you think about it, security is something the industry's been talking about for years and kicking the can down the road. We're starting to see regulators coming up with increasing regulations like CRA in Europe and the Cyber Trust Act in the US. I think one stat that sort of jumped out at me in the news I've been reading is that Check Point Firewall Company reported an average of over 1,900 cyber attacks per week in Q1 2025 per enterprise. So the hackers are stepping up their activities, they're getting much more creative, and they're starting to dive into the nooks and crannies of IoT devices because increasingly they're the most vulnerable attack vector that enterprises have.
Right, obviously a big attack surface. What's the big problem? We have been talking about this for decades. What is a big problem that's standing in the way of providing better cybersecurity?
Yeah, well, the IoT industry is still very fragmented. You've got a fragmented set of component manufacturers, you've got thousands of device manufacturers, and the identities of all the components and devices, the information about software and hardware bills of materials, all the transparency you need into devices to understand them and secure them better that we take for granted in the IT space for computers and phones and servers doesn't exist for IoT devices. And without that level of detailed intelligence, there's no good way to secure or support devices.
So it really is fragmentation of the ecosystem. Again, something that's been around for a long time, and I don't think we're going to see that cleared up anytime soon. What is an answer to that? How do we get better security in this fragmented landscape?
Yeah, well, Somos, our core business is that we maintain the registry of telephone numbers for North America. So we are
and Canada and the Caribbean.
We are very familiar with the notion of maintaining ecosystem-led registries to facilitate information sharing for business purposes across thousands of providers. What we've launched is Somos ID, which is an IoT device registry, which captures IoT devices' identity components and intelligence, as well as relevant hardware information, software bill of materials information, and then with that software bill of materials, we are also providing detailed software bill of materials vulnerability analysis, which goes into not only vulnerabilities, but those which are being actively exploited, those which are reachable, to give the owners and people that are supporting those devices a very focused sense for where they need to spend their time, either remediating urgent problems or getting ahead of emerging problems because of devices that are reaching obsolescence or other technical issues, so that we can now proactively manage and secure devices rather than fighting fires the way that we have for the last 5-10 years.
Right, and that is a big deal. Hey, once again, I'm Keith Kreischer here at Embedded World, North America, with Marc Plante of Somos. Marc, thanks so much for your time.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Have a great show.